A lot of you guys has requested me on making the tier list for the Wit version of SR cards, and today we will be looking at it. We will be looking at what each card is strong at and which Wit card you should use for each certain specific scenario. Before I go into each specific Wit card, here is the tier list for the Wit support card. Pretty much every Wit card is viable except for Ikuno Dictus. Each card has areas where they excel at. For example, Agnes Tachyon is really good for medium distance racetrack, but this tier list should be an accurate representation of the current SR Wit cards. A big disclaimer before I start explaining these cards in depth, we'll assume that all the cards are at MLB to make it fair and simpler. I'll also not discuss too much about specialty priority because most of the WIT card has an average of 35 to 50 specialty priority anyways, so it doesn't really matter that much. Alright, now let's dive in deeper into each card and their usage. Starting off with Fukukitaru. This card is just straight up the best SR with card in the game, even more so that it has a scenario link in the Unity Cup. Pretty much in almost every deck that runs with, you will see this card. The strongest point of this card is the initial friendship gauge. This card has an initial 40 friendship gauge, which is the highest among all the with card. The only other card that has the same initial friendship gauge as this card is Daiwa Scarlet. Initial friendship gauge is also really good for the Unity Cup scenario simply because of the fact that in Unity Cup you are very energy hungry because of the spirit bombs. Getting it to orange faster means you get energy back when you click the with rainbow trainings, and in return this also lets you click more training. Oh, and the training effect? Yes, this card has the highest friendship bonus and mood effect out of all the with card. It even has 5% training effectiveness on top of it. Here's a simple comparison of a single rainbow with training between a couple of SR with cards. It has the higher wit given per training with 20 wit on a single click out of all the SR with cards. This card is just that busted and good. The only downside of this card is the lack of race bonus. It doesn't have any race bonus, otherwise this card is just the SR with card and it's perfect even for the Alhara scenario. Also, this card doesn't really have any good hints beside late surgery corners, so you are running this card usually purely for the training effects and right-handed hints. One more reason why this card is also really good is because it has a right-handed guaranteed hint on the event chain, and right-handed is actually a really sought-after green hints. If you look into the future CMs, the amount of right-handed track is way more than the left-handed tracks. If you get unlucky though on the second event chain, you can eat a minus 20 energy from the chain event, but you are still given the right-handed hints regardless, so I don't think it's really that bad. This card can also fit even in your deck if you do not need the right-handed from the event, because the other option of the second chain event gives you 45 skill points, which is equivalent to about 1 G2 or G3 races, and if you think about it, that's really crazy. And there's also a reason why it is recommended to put your SR stone on this card if you want a really good with card for the Unity scenario. Daiwa Scarlet is a really strong card for the same reason as Fukukitaru. Also, if you have noticed in the past, all the top team trial whales were using Daiwa Scarlet and Fukukitaru with card in the deck on the URA finale days. Again, the reason this card is on the S tier is because of the high initial friendship gauge. High friendship gauge means it allows you to get with recovery faster, click more training, and get higher stats overall. This card is also the second highest card on the friendship bonus and mood effect out of all the red cards just behind Fukukitaru card. So even without any training effectiveness, it still performed better than some other wit cards on Rainbow Clicks. The chain event and random event from this card is also pretty good. It has a lot of mood up and energy to help your career runs. I think the only drawback of this card is that the hints from the chain event is pretty bad. Tactical Tweak is a skill that you pretty much will never take, and the hint from this card itself is pretty okay, specifically for page chasers, and there are a couple of good speed skills, but that's about it. Agnes Tachyon is a must-fit card if you are building a medium distance Uma. This card takes priority over most of the other wit cards in the medium distance deck. Up tempo, medium distance corner, medium distance straight are all good speed skills that you basically want for your medium distance Uma. This card also has SP bonus on top of it. As we all know, the reason cards like Sweep Tosho is good is because it also has an SP bonus. This means every training click with Agnes Tachyon inside, you get +1 skill point more. This will let you pick up more skills at the end of the career. One good feature from this card is also it has a really high race bonus. Having 10% race bonus helps to cover race bonus in the deck if you run a certain cards like Fukukitaru that doesn't have any race bonus. On the training effect side, this card is about average and it has about the same as most of the other wit cards. There's also really nothing going on the chain and random event side of Agnes Tachyon. This card provides just a little bit of stats and skill point, but none of the event chains has desirable hints. The main purpose you want to run this card is solely for the purpose of the skill point bonus and medium distance hint that this card provides. Next on the list we have Marvelous Sunday. If I have to describe Marvelous Sunday in one sentence, Marvelous Sunday is a speed skill hint card. I could totally just end this card section with that one liner. This card has an average training effect and also about the same as pretty much any other with cards. It doesn't have a high training effect. It also doesn't have SP bonus like Agnes Tachyon, but the thing you want from this card is the speed skill hints that this card provides. Straightaway adapt, ramp up, and tail head high. Three of these skills are pretty much middle leg speed skill that you want on every Uma that you run. This card also provides +2 hint levels, meaning the hints that come from this card is also always +3 hint levels, so that cuts off a lot of SP needed to get these skills. This card also has a high race bonus at 10%, the same as Agnes Tachyon, so it's a nice filler card to be paired with Fukukitaru if you need that race bonus. The chain event from this card only provides you with a little bit of stats. All the good events are in the random events, where it provides you with energies and mood. This card is only really strong for the stronger people who want to build Uma that stacks middle-leg skill. It is a pretty much universal card solely used for the purpose of the hints it provides. If you cannot take benefits of the middle-leg skills, it is better to run other wit cards. Let's talk about Mejiro Dober. Do you know the reason why Biko is one of the best SSR speed card despite missing mood bonus on its effect? Because Biko has a crazy high 20% training effectiveness. And what does Mejiro Dober has in common? It also have 15% training effectiveness. This means that this card is a really strong roaming support card, and it also has a very strong training click wherever she lands. This card tops every other Wit card on every training it lands outside of Wit. Even on Wit training itself, it still rivals Matikane high good training effects. The drawback is this card doesn't have any specialty priority, so most of the time this card will just wander into every training. All of Mejiro Dober's chain event is also really good. It gives you energy and you can choose between mood if it's needed. This random chain event here is also very OP. It gives you 45 skill points in a single click, and that's equivalent to a race basically. Mejiro Dober also gives you slick search in on her chain event, and some good hints for the medium distance at level 3, like up tempo and steadfast. I really like to fit this card in a with maxing deck on a late surger with Asian Flash and Nice Nature because they simply all give back energy on their event chain, which makes it easier for these scenario runs. Try to spot the difference between the effects of Nice Nature and Mejuro Dober. Yes, there's almost none. Both of this card is almost identical aside from the hidden levels and with recovery that Dober provides. So the training effects are the same as with Dober. It provides the highest training effect across all training. This card is also a roaming support card and serves the same purpose as Mejiro Dober. The best feature from this card is the chain event. You can get a huge amount of 20 bone gauge on her first event chain. And if you hit this really early on in the career, it speeds up your initial bond gauge to orange faster by a lot. Unfortunately, out of all the hints that this card provides, None of them are really good to take, and most of it are useless. The only good hints this card provides is ramp up from the random events. Mejiro Ardan is a decent wit card. This card main specialty is for page chaser and its left-handed hints. The main reason you would want to run this card is of course for the left-handed hints. But as I have mentioned before, since future CMs will have more right-handed than left-handed, you will see Fukukitaru more in the deck than this card. This card also have a very high hint level bonus at plus 3 and an insane amount of hint frequency bonus sitting at 70. Getting level 4 hints on page chaser corner and left-handed is really game-changing if you want to double circle the skills. The training effect of this card is actually slightly better than cards like Fuji Kiseki and Marvelous Sunday due to its additional 5% training effectiveness. One more thing I really love from this card is this chain event right here. Getting 30 energy and a mood up is very huge in energy hungry scenario like the Unity Cup. Unfortunately, this card also suffers the same fate as Fukukitaru such that it doesn't have any race bonus, so you need to fill the gap of this with the other cards in the deck. Arguably, on the tier list, this card will be nearly pushing the A tier, but since the demand for left-handed is lower, I rated this card a bit lower. Peace Chaser Corner is nice, but it isn't really worth justifying to run this card just for that hint. Picking when to run this card is really simple. If the course is right-handed, then run Fukukitaru with card. If the course is left-handed, then run Mejiro Ardan card. For the Fuji Kiseki card, we have used this card for one specific CM. If you can remember, it was the CM3 Cancer Cup. This card main purpose is for its Summer Runner and Mal Course hint. This card also gives you plus 2 hints level on the hint click, meaning getting level 3 Summer Runner and Mall Corners can save you a lot of skill points. This card is also just purely ran for the purpose of a hint card. The training effect of this card actually is the lowest baseline out of all the wit cards in the game, so compared to other wit cards, it has the worst training effect. It has an SP bonus in her kit to cover this up, but if you want to run this card for the SP bonus, simply Agnes Tachyon does the same, but it is a better card. Here is the comparison of Agnes Tachyon training effect and Fuji Kiseki's. Agnes just clears out this card training wise. This is a really specific niche with card for the mall distance and summer type race courses, otherwise it won't see any use in your deck slot. At a single glance, Ikuno Dictus card seems really good. It has a good training effect, it has 10% training effectiveness, it also has SP bonus, and 55 specialty priority, which is the highest among all the wit cards. Basically everything you want on a wit card, right? But this card is actually the worst wit card in the game. The card is missing with friendship recovery. Do you know the reason why wit cards are fitted in the deck or is heavily utilized in the wit maxing deck? The main purpose is so you get energy back when clicking rainbow trainings with it. And with this, you can click more trainings and avoid pressing the rest button. This card provides 0 energy recovery at rainbow click, meaning you only get the base recovery click on wit and it just defeats the whole purpose of running with card in the first place. And with that, please just avoid using this card in the deck, it is not a good wit card. That's basically it for all the SR Wit cards. Here's a little quick summary for the use case that I believe would help everyone when choosing their wit cards for the Unity scenario. Fukukitaru is always an auto slot in almost every deck. This card is not only strong because the fast friendship gauge, but also has scenario link in Unity Cup and also have guaranteed right-handed. Agnes Tachyon is always a slot in when you want to train for medium distance racetrack. This card is just too good with the SP bonus and medium hints. Mejiro Ardan is used for tracks with left-handed. Fuji Kiseki is for mild distance racetrack and summer runner. And if you love roaming supports, then you can pick Nice Nature and Dober. If you want middle leg hints, grab Marvelous Sunday. If you also want to take a look at the other tier list for the speed card that I made, I also linked it down in the description below. Anyways, thanks for watching and as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one.